Hi, it's Maggie Davis at Mini Minx on YouTube and the Captain. I just wanted to share with you this Handmade Crafty handmade junk journal, mini album, scrapbook, memory book, unique keepsake, with charm, with an added detachable charm here and ribbon closure. It's like a little book, but it's not hardback, it can stand. I've added in this one's slightly different, that's the back of it. I've basically put in items that are crafty, that probably initially what a junk journal was all about. People that did crafts, etc., added bits and bobs. So I've basically cut out various things that people like, beads, pictures of beads, sewing, maybe candle making, card making, papers, etc., and I've stitched them to like squares and rectangle type shapes, and then glued them into this little journal. So I was trying something different rather than the stack the pages type one or the other junk journal. Like, oh, I've made this other one here, like the thicker type ones on it. I've just wanted to try this little one out. So on it there is some pretty shimmery paper on there. It's glittery type paper with roses, and I've added 3 little butterflies and added 3 little gems on there, and there's a attachable little charm at the front, very cute. It's, I think it's pewter, it's quite heavy, like a sort of metal rose here, some beads on it, and I've added a parrot clasp here and made it into a little charm. I've tied a couple of knots on the ribbon to stop it falling off when you open it, but it'd be your choice if you just wanted to unclip it and use that on something else. I mean, you might want to put on your phone or handbag or purse. It's quite cute, but it's nice on there as well. I've stitched top and the bottom of this little junk journal, and I've added some vintage lace on the front and on the back. I've used my hot glue gun and glued them down, and I hope you can see that. I've just sewn on some of these little seed beads going down, pink and white, and there is a little purpley colour in there. Just sewed them down the bottom just for a little bit of interest, etc. I've got some tags in here, and I've used like raspberry and cream twine that you'll see throughout of it on there. And I'll just show you this while I'm here. These are cotton threads, the shape of like cotton threads, like spools, and these 3 will come with the junk journal. All I've done is used worn lipstick, Tim Holtz worn lipstick, and I've distressed around the edges, and I've added a bit of this raspberry and cream twine, raspberry and white twine, and I've just tied it at the back. So you could add some journaling or a photo, and you can move that up and down to whatever shape you want there, if you want it scrunched together, or you could just undo the little light knot I've made at the back and put it into the journal. I've left them out, but they will come with it. You could writing on their dates, etc. So we'll quickly have a look through the journal and see what you're getting. It's a little bit of pink ribbon closure, very simple, with these eyelets there put in the front and at the back, and I've just tied at the other side of the ribbon to hold it in place. I've also, with a lighter, I've singed the ends of it to stop the ribbon from fraying. And this item will be for sale on my Etsy shop, in my Etsy shop, and that is MinxCreationsUK. So here goes. I hope you like it. Oh, I forgot to mention that the size of it is about 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches. That is 11.5 centimetres times 16.5 centimetres, roughly about that. There's one signature in it. There's 20 pages, so that is actually 40 sides. So if you're counting back and front, plus you get there's an envelope in the insert in the inside of your front and back, and there's a heart doily in the centre, and there's a signature in the centre of the signature that I've added some extra beads. So in here there's an envelope in here, and same at the back, and you could add something, your own journaling, memorabilia, etc. And just quickly show you, I've added in a planner here. So it's got, well, today, tomorrow, to put off, notes and doodles on it, and it's pink pink hearts with lines on it, and you could fill that in and maybe add something on the back if you wanted to. Move these out the road just now, but I thought it would give you some extra space for journaling, to add in your own journaling photos and memorabilia. So I've just added a die cut here, a banner one. I've embossed it with X heart, X heart, X, and I've stamped Home Sweet Home here. Most of the items I've either used Tim Holtz vintage photo distress ink or the worn lipstick, and on the actual stamps that was Kirsty Allsop. It's black ink on hers on there. So that's the 3 ones. So as I said, the theme was crafts, any type of crafting or items that you would use for crafting. I've just cut out a picture, fussy cut out it, stitched round the edges here, added it to a shape, and then I've glued down various sides to make a tuck spot. On here's a bit of vintage lace picture being added, and then I've done some zigzag sort of stitching on there, and it's blank on the back to make a little, it made a tuck spot, but also gave you something that you could add your own journaling. I stamped a button in a sequence with a couple of X's up there, and I've left this space for you to put in your own stuff, and you could put something on this page, entirely up to yourself. It's quite soft paper this, it's the same paper all the way through. I've not added various papers at all, it's the same one. So front and back you're getting 40 of these soft cream paper that's on there, and then of course you've got your envelope in the inside and at the back, and you've got a doily in the centre. So in this one we've got a list of a toolbox. Consider adding these other handy items to your kit, be a bead mat, jewellery glue, metal pliers, etc., metal files that says, etc., etc. So in a little list that I've stitched it, I've added like a sewing type edging here up there. I've stamped it on with the needle to give the corner of a picture, etc., and I've put beads onto this one. I made it in a little tag, and it's created a tuck spot here. On this side we've got 3 little butterflies with 3 little diamante gems on it, and the gems you'll see throughout the book, and I've stamped on a little pin, safety pin there, so space in between for you to journal, etc. And I've stamped on a mannequin here. Not that great stamping, but it doesn't really matter, because in a junk journal it doesn't have to be perfect. And there's wool and a little crochet needle there, crochet needle there, a little hook, and you could do journaling in here. Thinking of that game, croquet, that people play with the ball in their lawn. Anyway, so another corner being stamped on here, and sewing, etc., and a needle going through it, and I've made a little tuck spot here, and it's hearts, and there's a little butterfly with a gem on it, and I've added in this vintage tag, and it's got that raspberry and white twine going through there. The tag's been stitched, and it's blank on the back for you to add your own journaling. And down here I've stitched on a little side to make a little side closure here, a tuck spot, a side one here, and I've stamped on this plant of flowers, a vase of flowers, what am I on today? So I've stamped that and added some pink gems, which I think are very cute, and it's blank on the back for you to put journaling, etc. Same here, enough space to put in your own thoughts. This is ideal for taking about in your bag. College, uni, school, work, whatever, if you're travelling on the bus, train, if you're on the plane. You could take it on your holidays with you, or at your lunchtime or something like that, a coffee break, you could put in your thoughts. Hopefully all good ones, I like to say. But even if it wasn't, it's a lovely journal to have. It's quite a good size, plenty of room for your own stuff as well. So I've just created this little shape going down the side, and it's created a tuck spot, and I've cut out these pliers, could be nose pliers, etc. On these are tools that you would use when working with metal jewellery, things like that, and a little stamp safety pin there, and it creates a tuck spot. Of course you could put something underneath as well, add an extra picture. On this side it's just the corner of that stamp that I've did, it's like stitching on there. I've just, and a needle going through it. I thought that looked quite cute, especially when the theme is crafty, so lots of things could be termed as crafting, knitting, you know, candle making, card making, scrapbooking. There's lots and lots of different techniques people use nowadays. So we've got that ball of wool and a crochet needle there stamped on, a stamped image. This one I've just did a little banner in pink polka dot, stitched up the middle and created a little tuck spot at the side here, and I've cut out the word papers and stitched round the side onto that square, and it's blank on the back. Stamped the button in sequins on there. And this one is out and about, because some people go out and about to do their crafts, maybe you know, could be picking leaves or something up outside, or using that to create art is really what it's about. A little tag here with a reinforcer, and it's a little bird in a cage outside the cage. It's been stitched down the side, and it's got that raspberry and cream twine blank on the back, and then for you to add your own thoughts. On this side we've got I've created a little tuck spot, just took a little patterned flower paper, bit stitching on it, and I've stamped some scissors there, and we've got this mannequin. I used my scan and cut to print this one out, and it's on sort of thick card. You could write on the back actually, plus you've got this space behind there for adding in anything. So a cup of tea and some cakes here. I've cut out that picture, stitched it on to some card and made a little tag here. Most people, if you're lost in thought or whatever, it's lovely to have a little cup of tea and a slice of cake when you're doing your crafts. I'm thinking the Warsaw Gummidge there. Aunt Sally and Warsaw Gummidge with that cup of tea and a slice of cake. Yeah. If you're around about ages with me, and I'm 49, turning the big 50 this year, then you'll remember Warsaw Gummidge. A little tag here, double tag, very totsy one here, and I've added a little bit twine, and I've stamped on a button, little stamp of a button in a sequence, and some little crosses there, like stitches is what it is. You could put dates in here, a date of a loved one, etc., and write something in the middle. Entirely up to yourself. So the opposite page has got just 3 little butterflies on it, and the die cuts, and I've added some gems, and the page is blank for you to add in your own thoughts. This corner stencil, and adjacent here I've put the same stencil stitching with a needle. So I've left those pages to you to use as you would like, as you wish. 3 butterflies here with gems on it, and I've created, these are little pages of paper, etc., that I've cut out and I've stitched down in that shape, and I've made a little side tuck spot here. And then this tag's been added in. It's a vintage tag with the same twine, the raspberry and white, blank on the back, and it's been stitched down the side, creating a tuck spot. And of course you could put stuff at the back of it. And this is coming close to the centre of the signature. So I've got jewellery here on the side, and I've just cut it out, fussy cut around it, stitched it onto some white card, and I've created a little tuck spot here and some paper stars here, and it's been made into a tag stitched on. And this is the centre. I've added a doily in. It's a heart doily, and I think it says love here along here. It's been embossed out, and I've just added in, it's cotton twine that I've used for stitching it together, and I've put on a lovely little pink bead, a yellow heart, and then a sort of pink marl flower type shape here, and it's on the second part of the twine here. So I've just mimicked it. You could add some writing inside there. I just thought it looked cute on the junk journal. A little side tuck spot here that I've done. More pliers. I think that's could be nose pliers then. Can't remember. I've got them all, but can't remember off by heart just now. So this is looks like juice, etc. Some cakes, like a party theme, and someone's made tags to go around the bottles, etc. So again, crafting. I've stitched it on to some card, created a little tuck spot here, and I've stamped that on either corner there. And someone's created these shapes here, probably it looks like out of wood, and I've just stitched it onto some card, and I've made it, printed out a tag here, inked edges with Tim Holtz vintage photo. All the tags I've got vintage vintage photo distress ink on it. That is acid free by Tim Holtz. Some other items, as I said earlier, it was the worn lipstick on some things, and which is Tim Holtz as well, and then the Kirsty Allsop is the black ink with the stamped images on it. So that's blank on the back for you to put whatever you want. I've done this again, this little die cut here, and I've cut out the words Just Gems because I've got gems used throughout this junk journal, and I've stitched it onto card and made a little tuck spot here. And you could put a picture or something in there and writing behind it, entirely up to yourself. So we've got some pins here just stamped on the bottom, and some buttons, little sequins, and some stitches stamped on here down the side. It's just been stamped down there. This one is Happiness is Handmade. How true is that? Yes. Well, personally, I think anything you get handmade is lovely. Excuse me, I remember when my kids were at school, and even now, if they make me a card or something like that, or a bracelet or anything like that, actually means much more to me than going to the shop and buying one, because it's like they've put some thought into it. I mean, they're getting a wee bit grown up now, but I've kept quite a lot of things from when they're younger. So to me, happiness is handmade. Definitely true. And I've got a little butterfly and gem there, and I've just cut out duct tape on here, quite appropriate, the duct tape, because it's got ducks on it. And I've stitched around the edges, added it to card, and made a little tag here, just to show that you could put something in as well. Little pattern down here that I've stitched through the middle, and made a little side pocket here, a tuck spot, and that is beads on that picture that I've stitched on the edge. Added it to card and created a little tag. You could put something on the back journaling. We've got 3 little butterflies up here with diamante gems on it, very cute. And this one is a tape here with some stitch pattern lightly stamped on the top up there, with scissors on the other corner. So the pages are blank here, so to give you room to put your own memorabilia, etc. or thoughts. I think that's some grass I've just glued on up the side. And this one is various papers here that I've just cut out, stitched a little bit of stitching here, added it to card, and created a tuck spot. And I've just stamped out with one lipstick there, it says special delivery for, and there's a few lines on that, and I've done it in the vintage photo, specially delivery for. You could write something in that, and you could put something on the back because it's blank on there, and you could got space here to put something here. So we'll just pop them in, creating a couple of tuck spots here. And on this one, it's Wild Rose. I think it's a type of paper on it, colour of paper, and I've stitched around the edges on the card and inked out this image here and this tag, Vintage Lady, and I've used that matching raspberry and white twine throughout. A little bit stitching there at the side, and it's blank on the back for you to add whatever your thoughts are on that day. So I've got some pins stamped along the top and this corner edge here. It's lovely paper. This paper's very soft. It's very soft feel on it. Some flip-flops here, minding us of summer. I've stitched around the edges and then did a little, took the threads out and then just ran the stitching, the dots all the way around where your thread would be. Creating a little tuck spot. There's a stamped image up there, and I've stamped this vase of flowers again and put blue little gems on it because I thought it was very cute, and it's blank on the back for you to write whatever, and this space at the back to create more. So up here I've just cut out the word new as in a banner shape, and I've stitched it onto a little bit of card, inked the edges, and I've cut out this couple of little bottles, could be crystals or something in it that someone's made, stitched the edges and attached it to a square piece of card, and it's blank on the back. So it's created a tuck spot at the top, stamped a ball of wool down here with a crochet needle, not croquet but crochet, and inked this image on it on both corners, adjacent corners on the pages, and a little dolly here that someone's made, and I've just cut out the picture, stitched it onto card and made a tuck spot here, and I've stamped that edge up there, and you've got this tag, Vintage Peacocks, beautiful pink roses on it, stitched a little bit along the bottom corner, blank on the back with the matching twine throughout that you could add something, and then I've mimicked here this banner at the front, that what's at the front on the back page, and it's X shape with a little bit of a love heart, and then stamped along the bottom, Home Sweet Home, and then we've got the back inside pocket, and in here I've added 2 pieces for yourself. It's taken from my weekly planners that I've got, so I've just took one of the pages off. Weekly planner Monday through to Sunday, and it's quite floral. It's roses and leaves and butterflies lightly done on this, and you could add something on the back. And also you will get one of these from a planner. It's today's to-do list, and don't forget things to do, top 3 priorities, today's menu, notes, and today's highlights. And it's blank on the back, and I thought it matched. You know, it's crafty, etc., and they just slot in here into the side. Now, and there is space in there for you to add maybe some of your own stuff, etc. And then that's the back of the planner, the junk journal, sorry, the crafty junk journal. So I'm just going to tie it. I'll tie it together just like that, and that is it, this type of thing. And as I said, you will be getting, it's very pretty, I think, you'll be getting these 3 spools with it, that'll come with it. So as I said, this will be for sale on in my Etsy shop, and it's MinxCreationsUK. So thank you, and there'll be a link from YouTube to my Etsy shop, and from my Etsy shop to YouTube to let you see this video. So many thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye.